Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at some pitching for today, the 12th of July. It is Friday. We do have a 12-game main slate in front of us. From my understanding, we have no real weather issues to worry about, but obviously pay attention as the day goes on. Maybe things will change there. So let's take a look at some pitching on DraftKings. I'll be using DraftKings since that's where a majority of my action is. If you do play FanDuel, I would cut my pool into a half or even a third, depending, um, since you don't have to be as creative with pricing. I'm not as tight over there. But let's dig in. Take a first look here at the options that we do have on this slate. Garrett Crochet, somebody that's going to stand out a lot, had some struggles in his start against Miami, and Miami is a team we've been picking on, but certainly just tremendous upside. His numbers at home have been phenomenal. Um, in theory, this could be, his last start with the White Sox. Even I'm just shocked that they're talking about trading him. Uh, Young, controllable guy. Seems a little weird for a team that's trying to rebuild, but um, so be it. So there's going to be a contender out there that probably acquires him. Uh, and makes a pretty big difference. But huge K rate when pitching at home. That's a big thing to notice here. K prop is 7.5, with juice strongly on the over at this point in the morning. He is a minus 162 favorite. Certainly worth the 10-3 price tag. Sonny Gray, a minus 198 favorite. K prop of 5.5 with juice on the over as well. Hasn't been as sharp the last couple, but he's certainly capable of putting up 30 to 35. Uh, Put up nearly 30 the first time he faced Chicago. He's been phenomenal when pitching at home in St. Louis. Another spot that we should enjoy attacking. Uh, all things being equal, I think Crochet offers a bit more upside, but Sonny Gray is just strong. I know the Cubs came off a really strong series against the Orioles. Something to obviously pay attention to, but I think they are in a questionable time with their offense, with Bellinger hitting the IL. Um, just a weaker lineup overall, but no problem using Gray. Joe Ryan in San Francisco. As many of you know, I love using pitchers in San Francisco for obvious reasons. Joe Ryan's been at his best when on the road this season. Um, K's have ticked up the last couple starts. It's nice to see. Uh, Certainly offers, mid 30s upside if everything comes together. K prop of 6.5, juice slightly on the over. He is a minus 135 road favorite. Game total is 7.5. Um, just no problem going with Ryan. Freddie Peralta traditionally had been best when pitching at home. Fantasy points are best when pitching at home this year. Um, but overall, his overall numbers are slightly better on the road. Uh, Taking on a Washington squad that we don't exactly love picking on just because they're not huge K threats, but still have to love the upside that Peralta offers. Coming off of a rough start, but that was against the Dodgers, to be expected. Uh, Extra day of rest, which he's been getting recently, which is nice. Um, Plenty of upside. Gladly going to play him, so that's, four guys at the top here that we're definitely interested in playing. I'm not going to be interested in Garrett Cole. Uh, I need to see him come back with some more consistency. He was solid at Toronto for sure. Um, but also looks like he might be still limited to at around 90 pitches as they kind of take it easy. Obviously, Baltimore struggled in the Chicago series, um, and he was decent in his debut against this Baltimore squad. But at this point, I just want to play the wait and see. I want to get on Garrett Cole when he's rolling, when he looks healthy, and go from there. Brian Wu, We will have to look into his oh, one rehab start. Just 45 pitches, 2 2/3 innings. Um, Most likely we're going to have to look at fading Brian Wu, unless we find out that he's going to throw 80 pitches for some reason. Obviously, he offers plenty of upside, uh, but he's been injured a few times already this season. So, a big worry. Most likely, I would guess we probably end up seeing him for like 60 pitches or so, um, which is maybe 4 innings. Not really worth it if we're going to cap his upside that much, but somebody I definitely want to pay attention to as the day goes on. He is a minus 155 favorite. K prop's at 4.5, which juices really strongly on the under, which to me tells me that Vegas is thinking he's probably going to be a 4 inning guy, maybe even a 3 inning guy at this point. Mania against the Colorado team we've been picking on with pitchers uh, a lot. Mania doesn't really offer the same kind of upside as all the guys that we talked about, but mid 20s is certainly within his range of outcomes. He hasn't been as strong at home. His K numbers are stronger when pitching at home, but his home runs allowed number jumps. But we're talking about a weak Colorado offense. K prop of 6.5. Juice ever so slightly on the under at this point. Um, he is a minus 238 favorite. I think he's going to have to be in play just based on the matchup alone. Um, but the fact that he's more expensive than a guy like Cole Reagans is really shocking. Now, I obviously get Reagans is taking on Boston, but still, I mean, Reagans just offers a ton of upside. Uh, was really strong pitching in Coors. Obviously, not a dangerous Colorado offense by any means. Um, he's generally dominated weaker offenses. He did pretty well against Baltimore, even Minnesota one time. Um, he is a minus 115 favorite, but it's obviously really close. K prop is 7.5 with juice on the over. I think there's just a ton of upside with Reagan. I think the game total's at 9 right now. Yeah, it looks like 9 in this game in Boston, um, which I guess isn't terrible considering the Oakland series, I believe, was at 10, 10.5 each game of that series. So I'm certainly interested in Reagan just because he has the GPP upside. Like, there are routes to him being the number one raw point scorer at the SP position tonight. So have to love him at 8,500 on this slate. Hunter Brown has been all over the place. Got lit up by Texas the first time he faced them. He's been best at home, quite a bit better at home than on the road, actually. Coming off of a rough start against Minnesota, but Minnesota's offense has been rolling. Brown is somebody I'm just going to have to think about as the day goes on. I'm just not sure I want to be beaten up by Brown again, but uh, he's been solid for the most part. A minus 162 favorite. K prop of 5.5 with juice on the over. Um, I think there's upside to him in this spot, uh, but is it a spot that I think that he can get to that upside? I'm not 100% sure yet. Definitely would rather play the upside of Reagan's. Uh, feel better about Manaya's matchup for sure. Um, so it'll be interesting to see. Uh, I think right now I would consider playing him, but there's always a chance that he ends up outside of my player pool when all is said and done. Tyler Anderson, been a massive surprise. For some reason, he's pitched better on the road this year, even though Angels Park isn't known as an offensive park by any means. Coming off a 10K performance, which is a bit strange. He had just 9 strikeouts in his previous 3 starts. Um, Easily his highest K outing of the season. That's going to cause people to probably over own him at this point. K prop's 4.5 with juice on the over. he obviously is taking on a very interesting K matchup team in the Mariners. He is a slight home dog, but Seattle does offer plenty of K upside. But there are a few bats in the Seattle lineup that are heating up quite a bit. So um, I'm not sure. Right now, I think I could see myself fading Tyler Anderson, as weird as it sounds, because we've been picking on Seattle with K pitchers. But obviously, Tyler Anderson's not a K pitcher at all. Spencer Schwellenbach, probably not going to make it there. I know he's had some decent starts, coming off of arguably his best start against the best team in baseball. But San Diego doesn't strike out a whole lot. He's just a minus 125 road favorite. K prop of 4.5 would choose strongly on the under. So it just doesn't seem like a fit for us in this spot. Kyle Harrison, guy that I think long term is going to be decent. Haney, not really interested. Spears, I'm not really sure how you can pronounce it. Coming off of a rough start where he had 3 home runs. Um, After he was pretty solid against St. Louis. He's got the matchup we like. Obviously, the ballpark is less than ideal. Um, he allows a lot more base runners when pitching at home. His K prop's 4.5, which is on the under. He's a minus 148 favorite, but game total of 9.5. Uh, I can see people talking themselves into Spears. I might get there just because I've been picking on Miami so much that might as well continue it. Uh, but he'd probably be my last man in type of a play at this point. Jackson Rutledge, I'm not going to go there. Former top prospect, I think, but he just hasn't been very good at the major league level. So I'm just not interested. Not interested in Criswell. Ariel Rodriguez is one that he's thrown the ball extremely well the last 2 starts. Um, Still, like being limited to low 80s in pitch count. Arizona isn't the easiest of matchups, but I think Rodriguez is in play, showing us the upside that he offers. Uh, Even though I am worried of a kind of a bounce back negative start from him, but he is showing, what made him sought after in the free agent market. So he's somebody that I am going to consider with that last spot in my pool, I would believe. Not really interested in anybody else down here, to be honest. Um, I don't know much about Tanner Gordon, but I don't think I'm going to be using him. Um, Nobody really interesting below that. So there we have it. There's the first look at pitching for us today. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on. Get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us and get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., I will put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly. And as always, best of luck, everybody.